morning and welcome to 1010, your top 10 news in 10 minutes. I'm Andy Hong. Happy October 10th, everybody. I'm really hoping that this video can get uploaded and posted 10 seconds to 10 minutes after 10, but then it won't really count because of all the time zones. And because it'll technically be 22:10 hours since it's 10 p.m., but who cares? Still super cool that October 10th happened to fall on Saturday this year. What was I doing last year this time? What was I doing next year this time? Well, just your daily philosophical question, I guess. This intro is getting too long. Let's get right into this week's top 10 headlines. Deadly bombing in Ankara, the capital of Turkey, claimed 95 lives and injured 245, the deadliest attack of its kind in the nation's history, according to BBC. Left-wing groups were conducting a peaceful march near the central train station when explosions sent protesters scrambling. Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoglu announced 3 days of national mourning while President Recep Tayyip Erdogan called the attack a loathsome act of terrorism. Investigations are now revealing tentative evidence of a possibility for 2 suicide bombers carrying out the attack instead of just one. Some protesters, such as those from the HDP pro-Kurdish party, are being quick to blame the government as the march was to protest the fighting between Turkish government forces and the Kurdish PKK militants. HDP and the government has had some bad blood as it repeatedly accused officials of striking down Kurdish activists. Other eyewitnesses expressed anger against the police for using tear gas when the bombs detonated and not letting ambulances through the police line. Turkey, the millennia-old hub between the Middle East, Europe, and Russia, is facing some dark times. Israeli-Palestinian relations are going downhill once again as Israeli police in Jerusalem killed 2 Palestinians accused of stabbing multiple people, including law enforcement officers. 1,300 reserve officers were mobilized in Jerusalem and throughout Israel as violence has been escalating in response to Israeli government restrictions on various holy sites, including the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Knife attacks and police retaliation under a surface of stability and control, the concerning social-political landscape of Israel today. As the Russians intensified their Syrian bombing campaign with shipborne cruise missiles and more airstrikes, and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard general commanding anti-ISIS forces on the ground was killed, Europe seems to be ever more closing its doors to the Syrian civilians caught in the middle. Germany, the nation projected to host 800,000 refugees this year, has seen a 300% increase from last year in attacks against homes meant for refugees seeking to settle in the nation. Politicians in the southeast province of Bavaria, which hosts 15.3% of the refugees in Germany, has demanded that the central government curb the number of arrivals. Chancellor Angela Merkel, however, seems determined to let the people stay. Many people have been showing mixed responses to Merkel's openness to the refugees. Now, let's go to a country where we can't have such things as mixed responses to a government policy. For today, North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un renamed himself Kim Jong-fun to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the establishment of the Communist Party. Sorry for the terrible joke, I just couldn't resist making it though. The staple of all North Korean celebrations, the military parade, lasted 2 hours in what was one of the largest parades that the nation has ever held. Kim declared that his armies are ready to defend against the United States, but seriously though, every time I watch videos of these parades on the news, I'm earnestly concerned for these people's needs. Back in the United States, President Obama is considering using executive order to push through expanded background checks for gun buyers. CBS reports that gun dealers who sell a large number of firearms to perform checks on potential buyers. Gun dealers will also need to be licensed by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Gun control has been a highlight issue of Obama's presidency. Just this past week, there was another school shooting at Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff that killed 1 and wounded 3. And Republican presidential candidate Ben Carson caused quite an uproar by saying that the Holocaust could have been mitigated had the Jews had guns, and that dictators always take away guns first. He went on to affirm that kindergarten teachers should have guns too. Well, apparently either the gangs or the government's going to come kill us with their guns. Have a nice weekend with that happy note, everybody. Well, jokes aside, the main reason Obama is considering bypassing Congress and go straight to executive order is that the congressional gridlock is too ineffective and short-sighted to get anything meaningful done. This would also be one of the reasons previous Speaker of the House John Boehner decided to resign. Now, prospective replacement for Boehner, Kevin McCarthy, dropped the bomb when he suddenly announced his resignation for the same reason, that he would not be able to fight the divisions between the Republican Party itself, much less between the Republicans and the Democrats. Of course, there are also other factors behind McCarthy's decision. He stirred some controversy when he called the Benghazi Committee, which, if you can't remember, responsible for hearings over an alleged cover-up of the attack on an American consulate by Hillary Clinton's State Department. He called that hearing a resounding success in undermining Clinton's presidential bid. The House is now turning to Paul Ryan to fill the gap, a proposal that Ryan utterly rejected. Granted, It's one of the worst jobs that an American can have right now. Remember Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, the soldier who was captured by the Taliban in 2009 after leaving his post, endangering his comrades, then being exchanged for 5 Taliban commanders? Well, he's been facing some tough consequences for his actions. Prosecutors charged him this spring for desertion and misbehavior before the enemy, which could lead to a maximum punishment of a life sentence. Recently, however, Bergdahl's defense attorney found a glimmer of hope from Lieutenant Colonel Mark Visger, who recommended Bergdahl's case to a more lenient system that could only, in a worst-case scenario, lead to a reduction of rank, a discharge, and some jail time. Now, this is definitely not a decided policy, so just don't get too excited or too upset yet. Now, to quote a Facebook comment on this next news, give this man a mask and a cape already. Spencer Stone, one of the 3 Americans who helped stop the terrorist attack on a French train, was hospitalized for multiple stab wounds while trying to defend the woman from multiple attackers outside a Sacramento club. The Air Force serviceman is expected to make a full recovery. Shia LaBeouf was arrested. Not for cannibalism, no, not for just doing it. He was arrested and charged for public drunkenness on Friday. The latest in his long record of run-ins with the law. Mr. LaBeouf joins us tonight to tell us something about his arrest. Shia? Yes, I understand you like your speech, but you're here to talk about your arrest. Shia, please, how did you get in here even? Alright, on that note, let's go to Brian Kim for our science news. Brian?
Thanks, Andy. On October 7th, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences announced the recipients of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. The recipients Thomas Lindahl, Aziz Sankar, and Paul Modrich was recognized for their work in mapping out how cells repair damaged DNA. Their research contributed greatly to the deeper understanding of how our cells work and helped the development of cancer treatments. Mapping out how cells repair damaged DNA is related to cancer treatments because cancer cells are basically cells with damaged DNA. As cells go through replication, the replication of DNA might go wrong and cause damage. If the DNA is damaged to a point beyond repair, the cell goes under apoptosis, a process of self-destruction. However, a cell may not go under apoptosis, becoming a cancer cell. These cancer cells do not listen to anti-growth signals and spread to organs and tissues within the body and causes various problems. Since now we have a better understanding of how the cells repair damaged DNA, we can incorporate our new knowledge to the development of cancer treatments. Back to you, Andy.
Thank you, Brian. Well, that was the Ten10 news for this week. I'm Andy Hong. Quick birthday shout out for my mom. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week with more of your top 10 news of the week. Stay educated.